Hey guys, just wanted to take a quick moment to talk about work in progress aging chart. So, in my opinion, this is one of the most powerful sort of metrics or dashboards you can use to see all of the work in progress and where you should focus your time. So, in this example, I'm using a typical um, solar project lifecycle. So, once a contract is signed, typically go to site audit, design engineering, permitting, installation, inspection, utility and connection, and then PTO is the last step where it's complete. I didn't put it on here, but you could also show that as the done, sort of almost like the done column. This would also work for the product development lifecycle. So let's say you do discovery, uh, planning, execution, testing, launch as you're done. So really any sort of process that you can break down into these phases, you can use this sort of chart. And then what you want to do on your y-axis is look at time elapsed. And so here for solar project lifecycle, it can take weeks or months. So right now this is showing up as months. But let's say you were working in an agile software development environment, you might want these to represent days, and so or maybe weeks at most. But really, it's going to be in days where you're moving small features across this process. Um, Now, if you're using a kind of visual whiteboard to do this, or you're using Excel, this will take a little bit of manual setup to do. If you use some software like Actionable Agile, which is the Jira plugin, you'll get this right out of the box. And there's a lot of Kanban based tools out there that will give you this visualization. But essentially, what happens is as a project or feature or work item is aging, it will move up vertically. And so, um, since this is representing 1 month, you could think of this as roughly, the midpoint is 2 weeks. So this project here has been 1 week and it's in site audit. If it ages a little bit more, like these here, it's 3 and then approaching 4 weeks. This one looks like it's about 5 weeks. This one's almost 8 weeks. Now, as the project progresses or the work item progresses to the next phase, the timer doesn't reset. It keeps going. And so there is a natural aging of a project that's healthy, which is represented by this green section here. Yellow is starting to get at risk, and red is at risk or beyond what we're comfortable with. What's nice about this is that's how the customer thinks about it. Imagine you've hired a contractor. Um, you don't care that the time resets when they go into the next phase. Once you've signed your contract, you want to know that your kitchen remodel is done or that your solar installation is done. And so when you say, hey, it's been 4 weeks since I signed my contract, this is what you're looking at here, regardless of where it's at in the process. So this is really powerful because anything that's on the far left and high in this yellow red zone, we know these are at risk or unhealthy projects. We need to try to move these along so that they can get back into a healthy zone. And then all of these are healthy projects. So the other piece to look at is you want projects to be completed so you can work your way from this top right corner down to the left, and same thing with this yellow. And that's going to ensure that you're completing projects healthy. So for example, if I wanted to make sure this project ended in green, I'd work on it before it can get pushed up into the yellow, and then it would fall off of this view. And there's a separate chart that goes along with this, which is all of your work items completed in a scatter plot that shows you what's your um, average cycle time, or sorry, what's your cycle time per project, also shown in a similar fashion with, then you can see a trend line and look at your 85 percentile completion rate. And these bands, you can then, as you start to accumulate data, you can make these bands more realistic. So maybe you want your 85% of your projects to be in green. You figure out how long does it take me to get through each of these phases for 85% of the projects, and that's what you shade green. And then maybe the yellow is the next 10% is that gets you to 95%, and then 5% are going to be in the red zone. If you want to be stricter, you would then bring these levels down so you can force faster cycle times across this. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or let me know how you would improve on this. Thanks.